The people who are here at the Banff Centre creating art in a wide variety of mediums will eventually return home to their communities, to their respective countries, to create with the inspiration and learning that they have attained right here. In the case of Lauren Peters, that inspiration will travel back to Manitoba, specifically to Steinbach, where the wardrobe specialist is from. Thanks so much for saving me from everybody else who's here and is not a Manitoban, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Thank you and thanks for taking the time. First of all, maybe you can tell people a little bit more about the work that you do in the arts in Manitoba and specifically in Steinbach.
Yeah, well, here in Banff, I am a part of the Wardrobe PTP program where I get to be a part of a workshop, like a real costume workshop, which I've never really had the chance to do before. Because in Steinbach, I work a lot with the Arts Council, the Steinbach Arts Council, where I do a lot of set design and that kind of work on stage. So I do a lot of costume in my spare time, but not a lot of costume professionally, just kind of like a little bit on the side, a little bit of personal projects, a little bit of tiny little contract work, but no like costume workshop kind of stuff.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So that's a really exciting opportunity for you then to be here at the Wardrobe PTP. How did you first hear about this opportunity?
Well, I've been really trying to see if I can expand my theater work from just being community Steinbach Arts Council kind of based to see if I could do it more professionally in the city. And so I was asking around at different theaters, MTC, and actually someone at MTC actually referred me to this program, and I was like, wow, I gotta go. So.
And there we go. So
Yeah.
now you've been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What does a day look like in this Wardrobe PTP program for you?
Well, we had a couple weeks to warm up and figure out how the shop worked and where all the stuff was, because none of it had been touched since before COVID, so we had to really clean everything up and find everything in every cupboard. But now, today is the first day where the entire team has arrived. Got to meet everyone from all across the country, this team is, and it's really, really fun. It's been fun to watch them work.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're involved then in the opera production as well. Maybe you
Yeah.
can, without giving too much away, because obviously we want to, surprise people at the end with pictures from that. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing on this operatic rendering of The Handmaid's Tale that is happening here at the Banff Centre.
So our team, for the past couple weeks, has been trying to figure out how to make the iconic handmade coifs. So when you think of the handmaids, you think of the classic white bonnet. So we're doing a little bit, it's not quite a bonnet, we're doing a two-piece thing where it's a coif and then a bonnet on top. And we've been figuring out how to make the shape of a head and make it fit everyone, even though everyone has a very different shaped head, but we want to make one pattern that works for everyone.
What sorts of tools do you then get access to here in the Banff Centre's wardrobe department that you get to work with that maybe you haven't had the chance to work with before?
Yeah, well, I've never really had the opportunity to work on industrial machines before. We have so many industrial sewing machines and sergers and buttonholers, and we have basically any big professional machine that you can think of is in that shop. Yeah.
Wow. Where does this passion for costuming come from for you? How did this become part of your artistic life growing up in Steinbach?
Good question. Well, I've always been a little bit of a history nerd. Grew up watching, Anne of Green Gables, Little House on the Prairie, things like that. And I wanted to wear those clothes all the time, but I didn't, you buy dresses at the MCC and you just dress it up however you can. But then once I learned a little bit of sewing in university I have a theater degree. Learn a bit of sewing there and realize, wait, I can make it. I can make that stuff. So I started making those kinds of costumes as historical dresses and stuff. And I was like, well, now I have all these costumes. What should I do with them? Decided to volunteer at the Mennonite Heritage Village, where I go every year Every year I work at the print shop there, full clothes matching the era of that printing press there, and it's been really fun. And then since that was so fun, I was like, well, what if I would make more for more people?
Sure.
Yeah.
So within all of that, that's a lot of passion for for designing these kinds of period costumes that come out of something that's very stylized, like an Anne of Green Gables, like A Little House on the Prairie, and then deciding to pursue theater at a post-secondary level. What was that decision like for you, and what maybe went into deciding that, hey, this is going to be a thing that I'm going to try to do professionally?
Well, I started going to university because I went for actually an art degree, a fine arts degree. So my main bachelor is fine arts. I went for the painting and the drawing because I've always been super, super artsy as a kid. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to be a scientist, and I definitely don't want to be a doctor, and I'm no good at math. So what if I what if I just go into the arts? I'll figure it out when I get there. And
Yeah.
I went there and I was like, we have a theater right next door. What is that like? I grew up doing like putting on little plays and stuff with my siblings and whatever. I was like, I should try it out. And yeah, I didn't actually do like really a theater degree. I just
Yeah.
kind of tacked it on at the end of my art degree, have enough credit hours to be a minor in theater.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you came here to the Banff Centre, what were you hoping to get out of this experience to then bring into the artistry that you take on in Manitoba?
I think I was just hoping for like more experience in a professional, like well-oiled, huge, like large-scale production and shop, so that I could bring it home and like, I don't know, because I do a lot of volunteer work at home that I want to figure out how I can kind of combine the two, if I want to go into more of a bigger shop, or if I want to stay local and community-based and maybe use those skills and connections to kickstart, roll out a bigger theater program or something in Steinbach. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see where it goes. I mean, the thing that so many people talk about here at the Banff Centre is the inspiration of just being in this physical place, the mountains just over there, the wildlife that will be just wandering around campus. What do you think? Maybe what's something that this place might inspire you to do that maybe you hadn't thought of before?
That's a question I don't know if I have an answer to.
We haven't been here long enough yet to.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Well, why don't we rephrase that to then say, like, how has being here in this scenery, in this locale, impacted this idea of what you would want to do with theater back in Manitoba?
Well, it's really inspiring more than the nature, but the nature's amazing. I love the mountains. It's gorgeous. But I think I'm mostly inspired by all the people here who are like all the things that they've done, all of their experiences that led them here. It's kind of inspired me to try to be a little bit more like them. You know, like be like, oh, okay. Those are like things that you never think of. Like one of my coworkers really didn't have any sort of theater background or whatever. Kind of sort of got into it after university and decided to move to London and just asked people on the West End if they needed help, and she's worked on the West End just out of nowhere. Like,
Wow.
So inspiring.
Wow. That's incredible. Maybe what are some of, as you're bringing these skills back to the West End of Manitoba, except not because it's on the East End of Manitoba, or if you're from where I'm from, Jan Seed. What sorts of skills have you been picking up the last couple of weeks that, like, you're saying, yeah, I can immediately put that into my practice back in Steinbach, and really that's going to make our productions that we produce in our community that much better because now I have this new set of skills.
A lot of the stuff that I'll be bringing back is just mostly tips and tricks about how to like organize and who you need to talk to about a certain thing and how do you a lot of I don't know, more boring things in a sense of how do you work together as a team to create something, and how can we do that the best that we can.
Uh-huh.
So
Sure. As you live here and work here for the next few weeks, what's maybe another skill that you would hope to develop that, again, you'll be implementing into your artistic practice?
good questions.
It's the only ones I know how to ask.
Yeah. Well, wardrobe is like such a huge department. So like everything we're working on now is very like hands-on, the building of the costumes, different things like that, learning from the designer. I think as we get towards the end of the production, we'll get to be more and more behind the scenes on stage, and I look forward to learning how to, you know, take care of the actors in the wings, take care of the costumes in the wings, how to successfully bring that production to its final on-stage presence. So,
Sure. When you return to Steinbach and you do work in the community, what do you think will be an element of Banff that people who are normally going to go see like a show with the Steinbach Arts Council, or they go see the spring musical at SRSS or at Steinbach Christian High School, where I think you said you went
Yeah.
to high school, when they go back and see the shows that you're working on, they're like, wow, that is different, and that is like a taste of Banff. What do you think that element will be in your work?
I don't know. I hope that it's quality. I hope that it's just unlike anything that they've seen before. Like that hopefully, because I've met so many people, I've seen so many different things, whatever, they'll feel that in the work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is such a delight to get to connect with another Manitoban who's working here at the Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity. And we're so excited to see, I mean, I'm so excited to see what you're going to do here at the Banff Centre, but also I feel like I get the rare privilege of seeing what you're going to do in Manitoba as well. And I'm excited to see what those sort of different elements are in your artistry. Lauren Peters, thank you so much for talking with us here on Classic 107.
Thank you for having me.